Hello everyone and peace be with you. It's me, Sammy, with a new discussion. We're going to be talking about abrogation today. I hope you all are doing well. So last we spoke, we talked about more evidence for why the Qur'an is created, why it's a creation of God. We spoke more about createdness of the Qur'an. Now we're going to be talking about abrogation. This is the Zaydi concept, the modern Zaydi concept of abrogation. So let's get to it. Before anything, I begin in the name of God, the compassionate, the merciful. I praise and I glorify him as he ought to be praised and glorified. Abrogation. The subject of abrogation, naskh. It's called naskh. Naskh. N-A-S-K-H. Noon, Sin, Kha. The subject of abrogation, naskh, has also been a matter of debate between schools and scholars. So the subject of abrogation, naskh, has also been a matter of debate between schools and scholars. Those who oppose it as a concept argued that abrogation meant, abrogation meant that the commands and ultimately the will of God are subject to change. Such change indicates time, and if God exists outside of time, there is no point that he could change his mind. If God exists, change happens in time. It doesn't happen where it doesn't happen in the case of one who exists where there is no time. There is no change there. So to say that the will of God is subject to change, this change indicates time, and if God exists outside of time, there is no point that he could change his mind. One could also apply this, by the way, to the concept of al-bada' that the Twelvers believe in. The Twelvers believe in bada'. I was discussing with a brother last week, I think it was last week, and I was asking what makes bada' wrong, because so bada', just quickly, is when someone asks, okay, bada', the Twelver belief in bada' is basically that God will change the outcome of something, including your lifespan, based on something like a good deed you committed. So you committed a good deed. You did something good. So because of that, God had initially desired for you to live 40 years. He increased your lifespan to 60 years. Or you asked God for something, like a longer life or something. So God changed what he already had planned for you. He changed it. This cannot work because of this same concept. In my understanding, same thing. God does not change his mind. They say, the Twelvers, it's interesting they say this, because you would think that someone who wants to advocate free will would be a Mu'tazili or a Zaydi. But the Twelvers insist that if a dua, if a supplication cannot change the future, the destiny, then what's the purpose of free will? It doesn't work that way, because you have not taken into consideration the function of destiny, or the function of God's will, rather. How God's will works. You have not understood God's will. God's divine will. God's divine will that took place outside of time. Not here on earth. Guys, I'm going to change my mind. I'm just going to not even do this video. In time change. When I turn the page, it's an in-time change. But you cannot say God in another way, phrase it another way, God changed his mind. No, it doesn't work. Such change indicates time, and if God exists outside of time, then there is no point that he could change his mind. Such change also posed a theological problem, because if God's will is subject to change, it would indicate that an essential attribute of God is dependent upon something outside of it. For these reasons and others, the problem of abrogation caused confusion in the minds of the earliest theological schools. Let us first define what abrogation means. What is abrogation anyway? According to its linguistic definition, nasakh means to copy, to remove and replace, or to substitute. To copy, to remove and replace, or to substitute. According to its conventional definition, it means to repeal or abrogate. Nasakh, the word nasakh, means to repeal something or abrogate it. So, for example, if you had the Constitution of the United States and you repealed something, you said, let's remove this, let's take it out, or abrogate it. You cannot abrogate the Constitution. What's there is already there. You can have amendments, which add their additions to it, and changes in the law, but you cannot abrogate it. Or so that's basically what it means. It's like me or anyone editing this book. Let's say that I'm not the commentators. Let's say they choose to repeal something. They said, you know what, this sentence, let's remove it. Let's replace it with something else, or let's remove it completely, or let's abrogate it with something else. Let's replace it or add another sentence which can go into more detail to describe that other sentence or that other point. So in any case, that's the definition of nasakh, conventional definition, to repeal or abrogate. For example, the Quran is said to have abrogated the Torah and the Gospel. This means that although the Torah and the Gospel are the revealed scriptures from God, the Quran replaced the previous two books as a source of guidance and law. So the Quran replaced them as a source of guidance and law. This does not lower the status of the previous two books, but rather the rulings in the Quran supersede them. So you see, before, I believe I was under the impression that the Quran is better than those two books. In that it's better than those two books, but meaning that it supersedes them. But that's how? That's God's word. It's His divine word. It's His divine revelation. But the Quran is better than another word, as if those books don't have value. People don't realize from those who call them, many of those who say that they're Muslim, obviously minus these particular Zaydis, they don't say it, but they minimize and they devalue, they give low status to prophets who came before Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon them all, low status to them, and they give the previous books lower status. They'll mention them, but they don't give them their due status. Why? I don't know. I feel like they have something to do with I feel like this has something to do with maybe a combination of Arabization, meaning like Arab nationalism in the religion. It has to do with just a lack of understanding of the previous, generations. They don't focus on that. You have to understand that the Quran is a continuation of what people came before. It's in the Arabic language. God chose it to be in the Qurashi Arabic language. And God chose the Torah to be in the Hebrew language. And God chose the Gospel to be in the Syriac language, according to my understanding. Suryani, which is Syriac language. So this is the language that He chose for those books. Are you going to say, these are foreign books? Because Arabic, everyone learns Arabic for the sake of the Quran. Some people, they learn Arabic because to them Arabic is superior to everything. That's not true. If these brothers believe that, may God guide them. But Arabic is not superior to any language. This is just the language that God revealed to the people. The Quran was revealed in Arabic to a people that were in its vicinity. That's why the Quran was revealed in Arabia, where the people spoke and understood the language in the Quran, and it was not revealed in the Americas, in North America. Yes, the Prophet was sent to all people, but the language was the language of the people of that land. It was not revealed in China. It was not revealed in the Caucasus. It was not revealed in Africa. It was revealed in a specific part of the Arab world, a specific part of Arabia, where the people were Qarashi, people of Quraysh, who understood and spoke its language. So this does not lower the status of the previous two books, but rather the rulings in the Quran supersede them. Some of the schools say that there are multiple types of abrogation in the Quran. The first type is when a verse is canceled, but its ruling remains, meaning the verse is canceled, but the ruling is still there. The second type is when a verse and its ruling are canceled. Both the verse and its ruling are canceled. It's just, anyway. Okay. And then people say, oh, so-and-so believes in Tahrif al-Quran. In Tahrif al-Quran, so-and-so believes that the Quran has been changed. The Shia, the 12ers, that's who they're referring to. The 12ers believe that the Quran has been changed. It's like, do you not look at yourself? Why are you looking at others but without looking at you? Look at others, fine, but look at you as well. The third type is when a ruling is canceled, but the verse remains. The ruling is canceled, but the verse remains. So we said, one type is the verse is canceled, but the ruling remains. Verse is canceled, ruling remains. Second one, verse and ruling are canceled together, both. Third type, ruling is canceled, but the verse remains. The ruling is canceled, but the verse is there, but we don't apply it. That's what it means. So some of the yes, regarding the first type, they cite the example of the verse of stoning, ayatul rajm, stoning, the verse of stoning. This book that I'm holding within my hands, it contains very, very useful information, all in a book. I agree with every single thing the Zaydi says, every single thing, except when it comes to imamah, there are certain things that my heart doesn't sit with. Maybe lack of knowledge, lack of understanding. I don't know. I try sincerely to understand. I try, especially lately. I just try. It's there, but at the same time, it doesn't click. Everything else perfectly clicks. Perfectly. Everything else, it's just something so strange. Everything I agree with, except when it comes to imamat and fiqh, jurisprudence, these two things. But I consider it to be fair because it's we all have our understanding, we all have, our right. But as you can see, what we have gone through so far is clear truth. By the way, I'm not saying that the defense of the Zaydi defense or Shi'i defense of imamah is null. I'm not saying it's invalid. I'm not saying that, by the way. But I have difficulty with it. I'm not saying it's an invalid view. No, I say it's a valid view. It's a valid view. Regarding the first type of abrogation, which is that the verse is canceled, but its ruling remains. The verse is canceled, but the ruling remains. Regarding the first type, they cite the example of the verse of stoning, ayatul rajm. According to this view, Umar ibn al-Khattab, radiyallahu anhu, may God be pleased with him, is recorded to have stated that there existed in the Quran a verse that prescribes the stoning of an adulterer. Umar ibn al-Khattab, this is a narration narrated by Ibn Abbas, and maybe others, that the verse of stoning was revealed. That prescribes the stoning of an adulterer. However, the verse is said to no longer be extant, even though the ruling remains. The ruling remains, but the verse is no longer extant. It doesn't exist in the Quran, but the ruling remains. The quotation appears in books such as Sahih al-Bukhari, Sahih Muslim, Sunan al-Tirmidhi, and Sunan ibn Majah, just to name a few. The quotation is as follows. It is narrated on the authority of Ibn Abbas. They write Ibn al-Abbas, which works as well. Ibn al-Abbas, because al-Abbas, people called him al-Abbas. Al-Abbas ibn Abdul Muttalib. This is the cousin of the Prophet, by the way, and the cousin of Ali. Peace be upon them all. So on the authority of Ibn al-Abbas, that Umar ibn al-Khattab said, I fear that the people of the time, will claim that they do not find stoning in the book of God and leave a practice that God made an obligation. Verily, stoning is a right upon the one who commits adultery. It used to be recited, the man and woman that commit adultery, stone the both of them completely. The messenger of God, peace and blessings be upon him, and his progeny, stoned, and we stoned after him. So, some narrations are even more explicit regarding the existence of the... By the way, before anything, when it comes to stoning the adulterer, I understand it's in the Old Testament, which has rules that we follow, by the way, not all. But stoning, I think a person should be very careful when it comes to this rule, because the stoning of the adulterer you're taking this person's life away. Not only that, you're hurting them, but you're taking their life away. In the Quran that we have, there is no mention of stoning. There is only the mention of lashing, and there is no distinction made between an adulterer and a fornicator, because he who is a fornicator is one who has illegal intercourse, unlawful intercourse without being married. He or she is not married and they have unlawful, and that's zina, but it's fornication, meaning that the people they're not married, or one of them is not married. Whichever one is not married is committing fornication. If it's one or the other. If it's two, they're fornicators. Adulterers are those who are married and they commit adultery. They're married, but they commit adultery. So, I don't believe that. So if it were up to me, and if it were up to me, and there was a case, that of adultery, then the rule that I would apply is the lashing, because the Quran said lash. So the Quran said az-zani was zaniya. If I'm not mistaken, az-zani was zaniya. It starts with the masculine, and so the one who commits zina is both fornication and adultery. There are no two different words in my understanding. It's zina is zina, fornication and adultery. So it says lash, to lash them. That's the punishment. Not kill them, lash them. So this is the rule. But so someone should be very careful when it comes to this, because if say you're in a country where the nation believes in stoning, and you stoned people to death and you were not supposed to, it was not in the Quran, and at the end of time it turns out that you were wrong, you may be held accountable for that, because it wasn't in the book of God in any way. So now, see, this is another issue. So let's just say, I don't know if it is or if it isn't. Let's say now the Zaydis say that the Imams of Ahlul Bayt, of the Prophet's family, these people have the knowledge of the Prophet Muhammad, and stoning is part of the something that they all said. There's a consensus among the Ahlul Bayt that stoning is supposed to be acted upon. I would not choose it. I would not go with it, but it's Ahlul Bayt. They're pure. It doesn't agree with the Quran. And those same Ahlul Bayt said, if what comes to you of us does not agree with the Quran, don't take it. They said that. The early members, the Salaf, the early Salaf of the Ahlul Bayt. I'm not talking about people that came later. I'm talking about the early ones. Like Ja'far al-Sadiq. By the way, it should be made clear that also the Hadawi Zaydi brothers and sisters, they don't take everything, by the way, from the Majmu' of Imam Zayd, the Musnad of Zayd ibn Ali, which contains fiqh. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying that different. So this is why I have nothing wrong with differences in fiqh. Differences in jurisprudence should be permissible, regardless of what Ahlul Bayt says. I'm a descendant of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him. Let's say I'm an imam. I'm an imam of Ahlul Bayt. I said I'm the imam and I fulfilled all the obligations to become imam. Okay, so if I'm the imam, but I have some disagreements when it comes to the tyrant. But let's just say I'm the imam. Okay, let's just say I'm the imam. I'm not the imam, but let's just say I'm the imam because I'm from Ahlul Bayt. This is one of the things I have disagreement with. Let's say I'm the imam and I'm from Ahlul Bayt. Somehow I'm better than everyone else because I'm from Ahlul Bayt. It doesn't make sense. But I respect the Zaydi brothers and I'm using their book and I love their book. But somehow I'm not. There are people way better than me. I could never, just because of my blood. We both bleed red. So, in any case, let's say that I am an imam. So what if I disagree? Do I have the right to disagree? I'm an imam. So I can say something else that other people may not have said. Imam Nasr al-Utrush, alayhi salam, peace be upon him, he was at the Caspian Sea. That's where the Zaydis used to be. They were in Gilan, and I think that's what the name is, and Tabaristan, in Gilan and Daylam, if I'm not mistaken. So those people that imam had his own views when it comes to fiqh, jurisprudence, which differed from. So differences of views it's healthy. One person may be right, another person may be wrong, but it's healthy. Nothing wrong with having differences of views in fiqh. It's different views in the main tenets of creed. That's where the issue lies. In any case, some narrations are even more explicit regarding the existence of the verse of stoning in the Qur'an. In his Mustadrak, Imam al-Hakim al-Naysaburi, who was from Naysabur, or Naysabur as it's known in Arabic, Naysapur. That's in Iran, by the way, also in Persia. So Imam al-Hakim, he wrote a book called Al-Mustadrak ala Sahihain. I don't know what Al-Mustadrak means, but it's kind of like a commentary on Muslim and Bukhari. So Imam al-Hakim narrated the following reports. It is narrated on the authority of Ubay ibn Ka'b. Ubay ibn Ka'b is one of those who is said to have compiled the Qur'an. I don't have it with me, but the Qur'an that we have today, the one that's from Hafs from Asim, which is what many Muslims recite today. So that's Ubay ibn Ka'b was one of the reciters of the Qur'an. May God be pleased with him. It is narrated on the authority of Ubay ibn Ka'b that he said, Surah Al-Ahzab, Qur'an 33, chapter 33. Surah Al-Ahzab, a chapter I've been focusing on lately. Surah Al-Ahzab used to be longer than Surah Al-Baqarah. It used to be longer than Surah Al-Baqarah. Surah Al-Baqarah is 286 verses, I believe. It used to be longer, according to Ubay. Surah Al-Baqarah is the cow, chapter 2. And in Surah Al-Ahzab was, the man and woman that commits adultery, stone the both of them completely. I believe the actual word is ash-shaykh wa shaykha, the old man and the old woman. That's the word mentioned. But this is narrated. Am I saying that this is true? I didn't say that it is true. I didn't say it's not true either. But this is what is narrated. The man and woman that commits adultery, stone the both of them completely. This is what that's what Ubay ibn Ka'b said, according to the narration. And it's found in Al-Mustadrak ala Sahihain by Imam al-Hakim an-Naysaburi. It is narrated on the authority of Abi Dhar al-Ghifari, that Ubay ibn Ka'b said to me meaning Abu Dhar, we used to recite Surah Al-Ahzab. I said 73 verses. That's how long it is. 73 verses, Surah Al-Ahzab. He said, Ubay, certainly not. Certainly not. I said, certainly not. He said, verily, when I saw it, it was equal to the size of Al-Baqarah. It was equal to the size of Al-Baqarah. Surah Al-Baqarah is the longest chapter in the whole Qur'an. And if I'm not mistaken, the longest verse is found in Surah Al-Baqarah. That surah is the longest. Surah Al-Ahzab was that long, so 73 verses, so we're missing over 200 verses. When I saw it, it was equal to the size of Al-Baqarah. We recited in it, the man and woman that commit adultery, stone the both of them completely, a punishment from God, and God is the Almighty, the All-Wise. It is narrated on the authority of Sahl ibn Hunayf. May God be pleased with all of these people, by the way. Of Sahl ibn Hunayf, that his aunt said, the messenger of God, peace and blessings be upon him, and his progeny, used to recite the verse of stoning to us. The man and woman that commit adultery, stone the both of them completely. It is recompense for pleasure. Imam al-Hakim said that all of the above narrations have authentic chains. This view is rejected outright. So now the commentators are speaking. This view is rejected outright because if a verse was said to be deleted or cancelled, this would harm the integrity of the Qur'an. A person could claim anything and state that it originally existed in the Qur'an but was later cancelled. Furthermore, the Exalted states, verily we have revealed the reminder and we will protect it. The Qur'an is the reminder. Qur'an 15:9. This verse is general and applies to protecting the Qur'an from any deficiencies such as contradiction and alteration. Furthermore, the so-called verse of stoning was rejected by the Imams of Ahlul Bayt, upon them be peace, principal of whom Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib, may God ennoble his face, he, upon him be peace, is recorded to have said, whipping is in the book of God and stoning is in the sunnah of the messenger of God, peace and blessings be upon him and his progeny. This is narrated by Al-Hakim, Imam Al-Hakim in his Al-Mustadrak, and he said that the hadith has an authentic chain of narrators. It is also narrated in other books of hadith. So, by the way, just because Al-Hakim includes contradicting narrations in his book doesn't mean that he is trying to confuse you. He's giving you different views. That's a good thing. It's an encyclopedia. This person said this, that person said that. You choose. What's wrong with that? So, if anyone thinks that there's anything wrong with that, why should you not include that which you can say, this, I've seen that this is what has been said and this has an authentic chain, for your information. This has also been said and it also has an authentic chain, for your information. Now, you choose whatever. I discourage that one, but this is the one you should be taking. Or you could choose neither. This is hadith. Their narrations subject to alteration. But look, let's be real. This is something that might stir up heat, or cause there to be heat. But let's just think about it. Can Can the Quran be changed? Can someone take a copy of the Quran? Or let's say someone in charge of printing the Quran. Can, C-A-N, can he change it? Or would something happen to him? Would lightning strike him, or would his hand break? Can he do it? I believe the answer is yes, he can. Can meaning able to do it, not can meaning permissible. Can he do it? I say the answer is yes. Why? Because, first of all, the Quran is protected. But which form of the Quran? The book or the words? The words. Do you not know that we have, I believe, it could be 30, but there are 10 different ways to recite the Quran. And they're different. Words are different. Instead of Maliki Yawmiddin in the recitation of Warsh, in the recitation of, Hafs, Maliki Yawmiddin, the owner of the Day of Judgment, Malik means owner. The people who recite with Warsh, like in Morocco and other places, which is it's a Madani way of recitation. Warsh, and there was another man with him. I don't know if it's Qalun but anyway, Warsh. No, it's not Qalun. Warsh. The recitation of Warsh is Maliki Yawmiddin. So what's the difference? They sound similar. Malik. Malik means king. King of the Day of Judgment. This says Maliki Yawmiddin, this Quran, and the other one says Maliki Yawmiddin. 7 are canon. 7 recitations of the Quran are canon. In Warsh, it's not وَالضُّحَى وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا سَجَى by the forenoon. وَالضُّحَى. That's how it is in Arabic. It's وَالضُّحَى وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا سَجَى. You know that in Arabic, standard Arabic, you know that there is no sound. There is a, e, u, that's it. There is no a or o or anything like in between. So what some people like Sunnis will say is, this is what is meant by the Quran was revealed in 7 في سبعة أحرف. They don't even, if I'm not mistaken, there is no truly known meaning of what the word ahruf means. They say styles, it could mean styles. These are they, the recitations. Some of them might say these are they, the 7 recitations. Jibreel came, every time he came with 7. There are 10 at least, maybe 30, 10. You're going to tell me Gabriel came down and recited 10 times the same verse? Here, O Prophet Muhammad, let me give you 10 ways to recite this same verse. If someone wants to say, well, Sami, there were different tribes who spoke in different ways, so it was for them. Okay, fine, but why? I mean, how that would mean that there's more than one Quran with more than one meaning, because the words are different. People say the meaning did not change. The meaning did change. They say the meaning did not change. In these 7, the Sunnis who accuse the Shia Imamis, the 12ers, they accuse them of saying the Quran has been changed, which some I don't know how many, but there were those who said that the Quran has been changed or is missing something. I don't think they say there is any addition. I think they just say it's missing. I think missing or changed. In any case, so they themselves have the narrations which say that the Quran is missing a verse, and but yet we have Maliki Yawmiddin and Maliki Yawmiddin. That's a difference. If you're going to tell me a difference in how it's pronounced, meaning instead of duha, you say duha, okay, they mean the same thing. It's a bit more acceptable. But if you say one word is another word, for example, I think there are, I don't know, this might be in there, I forget the different ones, but one of these differences is like, instead of ta'lamun, ya'lamun, or instead of ya'lamun, ta'lamun. Because you have to, there was a time when there were no dots. If I'm not mistaken, the one who came with the dots are Ali, introduced the dots, and I believe even the tashkil, meaning the diacritical marks, the fatha, dhamma, kasra, sukun, shadda, perhaps shadda, fathatayn, fathatan, kasratan. So these were there. There was a time when these were not there, no dots. People had to. There's a book called Kitabul Masahif, Kitabul Masahif, by Ibn Abi Dawood al-Sijistani. He's the son of Abi Dawood, the narrator. Ibn Abi Dawood has a book called Kitabul Masahif. In that book, you will find everyone's version of the Quran, their version of different verses. Like Umar said that there is in Surah Al-Fatiha, the first chapter, غَيْرِ الْمَغْضُوبِ عَلَيْهِمْ وَغَيْرِ الضَّالِّينَ. I think it's something like that. It's غَيْرِ الْمَغْضُوبِ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا الضَّالِّينَ. But in his version is غَيْرِ الْمَغْضُوبِ عَلَيْهِمْ وَغَيْرِ الضَّالِّينَ. Something like that. For the last part of Surah Al-Fatiha. Ibn Abbas, I don't know if this is mentioned in Kitab al-Masahif. Kitab al-Masahif, by the way, means the book of books, but it's what it means is the book of different Qur'ans, I guess you can say. In this book, you will also find, you may find under Ibn Abbas. I haven't finished the book. It's only one volume. Ibn Abbas. So when you go to the tafsir for mut'ah, something the Zaydis don't believe in. For the record, Zaydi Shia don't believe in mut'ah. Okay? Zaydi Shia don't believe in mut'ah. People say, oh, Shia believe in mut'ah, Shia believe in mut'ah. Mut'ah is something that was subject to debate amongst the Salaf. In any case, Zaydis don't believe in it. So, according to the verse, there's a verse in the Quran. If you read the tafsir for the Quran, I don't know about Zaydi books of tafsir or others, but Sunni books of tafsir. Maybe Shi'i, I'm not sure. Imami, 12er. So when you read when you say Shi'i, it's like automatic, we mean the 12ers. People get accustomed, including myself, to doing this. Zaydis are Shia. In any case, and Ismailis. So now if you come across the verse, which mentions mut'ah, فَمَا اسْتَمْتَعْتُمْ بِهِ مِنْهُنَّ فَآتُهُنَّ أُجُورَهُنَّ فَرِيضَةً. And from what you have enjoyed from them, married women, the women you marry, and from what you have enjoyed from them, give them their payments or dowries as an obligation. So how Ibn Abbas is said to have recited this verse, just like you see how Ubay said there was a verse mentioned, Ibn Abbas said the verse was revealed, that verse, and from what you have enjoyed from them, women, give them their dowries. فَمَسْتَمْتَعْتُمْ, enjoyed from them. I say this means the married women you married, because that's in the verse. In any case, so Surah 4 verse 24. Surah 4 verse 24, which is a continuation of Surah 23, I believe. Maybe possibly the one before it as well, 22. Surah 4, the women, verse 24. Ibn Abbas said, فَمَا اسْتَمْتَعْتُمْ بِهِ مِنْهُنَّ إِلَىٰ أَجَلٍ مُسَمَّى فَآتُهُنَّ أُجُورَهُنَّ فَرِيضَةً. And from what you have enjoyed from them for a specified time, give them their payments or dowries as an obligation. And Ibn Abbas is said to have believed in temporary marriage. forget about, meaning let's put this verse on the side. He is said to have believed in it. He is said to have believed in it, but that's what is said, that it's attributed to him. He recited it differently. So this is a big subject. Zaydis, from what I see, they outright reject anything that says that the Quran has been changed. I say that it's possible for someone to change. It's not impossible for the Abbasids or the Umayyads or any of these people to change the Quran. When Uthman was in power, did he not compile the Quran? Someone might say Ali approved of it. How are you sure? Are you sure? Uthman threw, may God forgive him, he threw all the other masahif in the fire, and only one he kept. Maybe Ali approved of it. Maybe Imam Ali did approve of it. But the Quran that we have is the Quran, it's called the Uthmanic Quran, if I'm not mistaken. It's Uthman's Quran. Unless someone chooses to say that, no, it's not Uthman's Quran, it was written during the time of the Prophet. But who was in charge? Who was the Khalifa? Uthman. People had a problem with Uthman. We'll end it there. This is quite a it's fairly lengthy, but it's okay because we want to know. It's not that lengthy actually, but yeah, maybe two or three parts. So this is something to ponder about. The Zaydis, according to this text, and perhaps according to their other Imams, outright reject that the Quran could be changed. I say that a person could have changed, and I could have changed a Quran, not the Quran. Another reason why it can happen is because the Bible, the Gospel, and the Torah, where are the original ones? Does it mean that why would God protect the Quran but not protect his previous scriptures? Because God he allowed those corrupt people, he allowed those corrupt men to do what they did. He allowed it. Not because he wanted it. He allowed it. They did it by his will. It was allowed by God's will. God willed that they do such a thing. Meaning that they could not have done it without God permitting them to do it. Because nothing happens in this life without God. God is in charge. What do you think? God is not in charge? God is in charge. The previous texts, even if there's one page left which is correct, it can survive. And the words could have survived in the hearts of man, just like Quran. But see, again, what if people say, oh, the Quran can never be changed because it's memorized in the hearts of men? Well, what if somebody took all of those people and he killed them all? God forbid. But what if that happened? Let's just say it happened. Hypothetically speaking, just say that everyone got killed who memorized the Quran in a community. It can happen. Now, did it happen? I don't think so. But it can. Because if you go to Morocco, you're going to hear them reciting in Warsh. And you're going to wonder, excuse me, sir, brother, you recited wrong. No, I recited in Warsh. Excuse me, brother, you recited wrong. No, I recited according to Qalun. Wherever you are. Because there are 7 canonical styles of reciting the Quran. I believe a person can choose one of them and say that one is correct. But you cannot choose all of them. Because if you choose all of them, then you say that all of these are the Quran, which it cannot be the case. Quran was revealed in one way, one style, not 7. One. There's only one Quran. This is for the thinkers. This is for the thinkers. In any case, thinking, I hate philosophy and I hate ilm al-kalam, but that doesn't mean that I hate thinking. No, we still have a brain. You're still supposed to think. You're just not supposed to go too deep to the point where you're at the darkest part of the ocean and you might reach a hot point and burn yourself. So in any case, this is we'll end it here. Next time we'll continue discussing abrogation. We may finish next time, or we may make it another 2 parts. And until then, I wish you the best. Keep safe, be well, wherever you are, and whoever you are, and wherever you are, whoever you are. And thank you for watching. That's all I have to say. This is the book we're using. The commentary, the establishment of clear exposition, a commentary on Al-Hadis, the fundamentals of the religion, published, and the commentators as well are from the Imam Rassi Society, who Imam Rassi was the grandfather of Imam Al-Hadi, peace be upon them both. So, in any case, I'll see you guys. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time, God willing. Peace be with you.